He's a familiar presence at protests across New York City. His cries for change, sometimes ending with him in handcuffs. Hawk Newsome is no stranger to interactions with police that lead to cases in criminal and civil court.
I've had several lawsuits against the NYPD. I had 3 cases dropped against me in the last 2 years where I was unlawfully arrested and I couldn't sue those cops personally.
It's the idea that, in this case, a police officer is immune from any type of civil liability if they violate somebody's civil rights.
Qualified immunity, a legal doctrine that protects government employees, like law enforcement, from having to pay out of pocket for infringing on someone's rights on the job. You can sue the police department for damages, but individual officers can invoke it in their defense.
Typically something like a legal stop and frisk, detaining you when there's no reason to suspect you, interactions where there's excessive use of force.
Calls to end qualified immunity echoed across the city and around the country last summer, when protesters demanded reforms to policing. The city council voted on a package of measures in March.
Introduction 2220-A, adopted by the committee.
And New York City made history as the first in the nation to enact a local law limiting that immunity for NYPD officers in cases of excessive force and unreasonable search or seizure.
It makes it clear that if you violate somebody's civil rights, there can be a right of action against you.
Now when you end qualified immunity and you go after police in their livelihood, in their homes, it gives them something to think about, right? It gives them hesitation because now they lose a level of protection.
NYPD officials argue that vulnerability leaves the city less safe.
It's fatally flawed, it's completely unfair, and it will endanger New Yorkers as written.
During council hearings, the department also cited a national study that found qualified immunity was granted in less than 4% of applicable cases. I asked the NYPD about the new law and was referred to the police unions. Representatives from the Police Benevolent Association did not agree to an interview and didn't respond to questions. When the legislation passed, PBA President Pat Lynch directed members to, quote, proceed with caution in a legal memo. Brooklyn Council member Stephen Levin, who sponsored the bill, tells me it's still so new, it hasn't yet been put to the test.
The bill hasn't gone into effect, and yet we've seen crime increase in 2020 and 2021. I don't think that a bill that didn't even go into effect yet is actually a driver on that.
For Newsome, co-founder of Black Lives Matter Greater New York, it's a change he's been championing for increased accountability.
We don't want symbolism, we want impact. And by passing these pieces of legislation, they'll make an impact. We just have to wait a few years to see how it plays out.
Whether the state and federal governments will move forward with similar rollbacks to this decades-old protection for officers is being considered by lawmakers at both levels right now, as the country continues its reckoning with police reform.